Resuming. Weird. World. Order. Broadcast. Dynaphones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, it's all about the...
Booyah, what's up? It's your boy Joe, baby.
And to my other right, weighing in at 178 adamantium filled pounds, coming straight out of Krakoa, it's Alfonso X-Man Flores.
The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it.
That was a
Hey,
great episode.
hey, you know what? It doesn't even have to relate to the episode. Alfonso's just been dying to say that. He's like, hey guys, let's make sure we do an episode this week because I have something to say.
Remember it.
Yeah, we definitely have to do another X-Men recap.
Yeah.
This show's been on fire. There's already a petition to bring back Bo, so we'll jump into that maybe at another time. But yeah, we definitely need to cover the X-Men. But you're probably wondering what we're talking about today because it's not X-Men episode 5. We're talking about the legendary, the comedic genius, the one and only Eddie Murphy. You're probably thinking we got Eddie Murphy on this episode. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're on Spotify or if you're on Apple iTunes, you're probably saying like, dang, they got Eddie Murphy on there, a special guest. No, ladies, gentlemen, and knights, that's actually Alfonso. It's Alfonso. So yeah, it's going to be fire. I'm really pumped up about this. Not because I like Eddie Murphy, because I don't. In pre-production, I didn't mention that. I'm not an Eddie Murphy fan, but the gentlemen are fired up. They got their imitations ready. They're gonna take a walk down nostalgia lane into the 80s and 90s. Let's do it. Let's see here. So I'll start off by giving you my overall memories of Eddie Murphy. As I often say, even though my dad worked in the movie theater, it was like his part-time gig at night. Yeah, it was the pores. So I don't really remember too much about the Eddie Murphy movies. It's like my mom was like, you got 2 movies a year, and it wasn't Eddie Murphy because, I mean, come on, all the profanity and everything. It wasn't Eddie Murphy. And then I didn't have HBO because, go back to previous statement, I didn't have HBO. So I never got to watch Eddie Murphy movies. So what you'll notice is there's a definite trend here. The gentleman picked movies that are nostalgic, and I picked movies I saw in the past 5 years. So there's that. Joe, what's your overall perspective on Mr. Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy was dope, because he was really big. You remember it was like Eddie Murphy Raw. Was it Eddie Murphy Delirious? Was it Delirious? And was there one more, or was it just 2?
I just remember the 2.
Yeah, that was the main 2.
Yeah, I just remember those 2. But I just know him from that, and like I remember watching it Raw years ago, and I thought that was back when comedians can say whatever they want. And so like I know of him then, and then also like he was on Saturday Night Live, so I used to always see with him with Joe Pesci doing a little thing on Saturday Night Live. So that's how I knew of Eddie Murphy.
Giving me flashbacks, Joe. I remember people would come to school talking about what they saw on the HBO specials with like Raw and Delirious, and I was like, oh, that must be funny. People would be like, and then a big brown shark came, and I'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then they'd be talking about like Mr. T and what he would be doing, and I was like, I don't get it. And then there'd be kids who would do the imitation, and clearly they're not Eddie Murphy, right? They're kids on a playground. So it was frustrating because, like I said, I didn't have HBO, so when everybody else saw Raw, not this dude.
But what was dope was back then you didn't have social media or access to the internet because it wasn't no such thing then. So it was cool, like when kids would, or anybody, if you watch anything, you would like do the whole scene, the whole skit, like to your friends. Hey, yo, it's funny. You'd be laughing about it. It's because I remember this guy, I pity the fool. Like when he used to talk about Mr. T, it was just funny. Everybody, even if you didn't um, see the show per se, you knew the timing and how the joke was because you heard people say it so much. So you would tell, "Hey, I heard this part of Eddie Murphy, like Raw. It's pretty funny, and he was talking about this and this, and you're doing words verbatim because back then when we were kids, we had really good memory."
So before I get to Alfonso, I just have to say one thing. Joe has comedic timing, and Joe remembers things verbatim. Not the kids I grew up with. Go ahead, Alfonso.
All right. So yeah, Delirious was the first special where he's in his, his red leather suit, man. And it's so funny because I remember specifically it starting out with a little kid, little Eddie Murphy, like around the family. He's like, I got a joke. I got a joke. So there's a little monkey and he climbs up in the tree and he goes, I can make it rain. So he pees all over everybody and everybody's laughing. And he goes, I can make it snow. And he goes, and he poops all everybody, says it's snowing. And then when he comes down, his mama says, well, I can make the stars come out. And he kicked them in the ding ding. Oh, come on. That was classic. Oh, you guys are on mute. That's why you hear laughing.
Dude, we were cracking up. I was like, oh dang, I'm on mute. I was dying. Yeah. That's what I told kids back on the playground many years ago too. Bro, I was on mute. And I'm standing here in front of you, but I was on mute. You know what my problem is when people tell jokes, and maybe this is why I have no sense of humor. I'm trying to figure out the punchline. Like the entire time, people are talking, which is why I love Dave Chappelle, because he's not telling jokes. He's just like, hey, this is ironic. It's like, yeah, it is.
But it's so funny. He's like, here, check this out. Let me tell you a story. And he tells a truthful story,
Right.
but you can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, Eddie Murphy. Well, I'd say going back, obviously, I'm going to say people like Gene Carlin were sort of the, the progenitors of the more edgy comedy going all the way back. I want to say
Carlin.
maybe Red Fox.
Yeah.
George Carlin? Did I say Gene Carlin?
You said
George
Gene,
Carlin.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gene Carlin was actually George Carlin's brother who took his name on the road, similar to Gallagher 1, 2, and 3. So people show up and they're like, it's Gene Carlin. But it was his brother. But seriously though, I feel like if you go all the way back to Red Fox, with his comedy evolving into Richard Pryor and obviously also George Carlin, and I feel like Eddie Murphy was, and this is just my opinion, he was the last comedian to really reach that sort of comedy where it's not so much like, hey, let's think about this, and it's more introspective. It was like, this is a joke, this is a setup, boom. But it was raunchy,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of, I'll say, black comedians. Cancel me for saying black, I don't care. I know a lot of black people, but I feel like now there's a lot of black comedians that sort of imitate the style that Eddie Murphy made famous, but they don't have that crossover appeal like Eddie Murphy did. And I feel like he was the first to really cross over like that, or rather the last to cross over with his particular style.
Yeah. I loved it when he clowned on Bill Cosby. That's before we realized how bad Bill Cosby was. But he's like, I'd like to talk to you about the things you say on your show now. Sorry.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be this the entire episode. The subtitle for this episode is gonna be Joe and Alfonso do excellent impressions. So let's jump into it, guys. I'll go first. As far as we're gonna pick 3 movies and tell you, I don't even know if we're going in a particular order. I'm gonna go in a particular order of Eddie Murphy movies that I like. So first on my list of Eddie Murphy movies that I like, I have to say this is sort of the Alfonso, where when I ask him like pick your favorite kid, he's like all of them. The Shrek movies as a whole, not Shrek 1, 2, or 3, even though I think I never got past 3. So let's say Shrek 1 and 2, and let's say that's one movie, Shrek 1 and 2. I really liked him as Donkey because I felt like it allowed him to have excellent comedic timing, but he also had to work within certain boundaries. So it was really important for him to have delivery and come across in a different way. And I thought he was funny. I was like, haha, this animated donkey's funny. Oh well, look at the animated donkey getting with the dragon. He likes them thick. Haha, I can relate. So in that sense, I love me some donkey. You guys, what do you guys think of Shrek 1 and 2?
Shrek, I mean, Shrek was great, man. Eddie Murphy, he made that movie. He was it was so great. Like in the morning, I'm making waffles. But yeah, he did. A funny thing about that, I've come across recently, like in the Shrek movies, everybody's from an enchanted kingdom, right? So you got Pinocchio, you got this, you got that, you got. But what is a talking donkey from? Where do you get a talking donkey? But a talking donkey is actually from Pinocchio. He's one of those little kids who went to that island and drank and smoked and cursed and became a donkey. That's why there was only one talking donkey, because he got away from there. He escaped that place. And so that he used to be a little kid, man. That's just sad. But then he found him a dragon.
And then he wasn't sad anymore.
How to Train a Dragon.
Story of my life. So that's interesting, Alfonso. I'm going to disagree with you just to be a jabroni.
Okay.
Okay.
What
When
do you
you
think?
said talking donkey,
Yeah.
I said to myself, Winnie of the Poohs. He could have been Eeyore. Eeyore got happy. No.
Yours so gloomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Where do you land on that one?
Donkey. Donkey. I don't know, dude. I just think donkey. I think donkey's just there liking them thick. You know what I'm saying?
But I will say this, dude. Like, seriously, anytime I hear like a theory involved in like a movie or something, that's super cool. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is actually super cool. Like, I totally dig that. So that would mean, and I don't know how Pinocchio works, but would that mean at some point Donkey would have the possibility of turning back into a human?
No, all those kids stayed as donkeys, with the exception of Pinocchio, because he had the blue fairy on his side, She was the one that brought him back.
I didn't realize he had a blue fairy.
Yeah, that's how he turned into a real boy. I'm a real boy.
Oh, that's
Donkey.
crazy. Now I'm getting it all mixed up. I'm like, he had Tinkerbell with him. No, dummy. No, you idiot. That's a completely different Disney movie.
Donkey, get out of my swamp.
So, Alfonso, what do you have as your numero uno in the Eddie Murphy category? Or numero tres, I guess.
For number 3, I'm going to go in chronological order, so we're starting from oldest to newest. It's in the number 3 spot, 1984's Beverly Hills Cop. Axel Foley, a Detroit cop, finds that one of his childhood friends has been murdered, so he goes undercover on his own as a vacationing cop in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills Cop was so great, man. It had the best lines in it. I mean, it started to showcase Eddie Murphy and his all. I mean, he had really good movies. He had 3 other movies before that, 2 of which were really big hits. One was kind of, I don't know if you guys remember Best Defense with Arthur, the guy who played Arthur, but it was kind of fun. But regardless, Beverly Hills Cop, the best line from it is, it's like, we're not going to fall for that banana on the tailpipe business. But yeah, he comes he's one of those cops who's doing it by, not by the book, playing by his own rules. His sergeant's always got to answer the commissioner for him. And, the classic 80s motif for a, cop on the run,
I didn't see Beverly Hills Cop in the movie theaters.
Oh,
I believe I saw it on something called VHS. It was okay. I mean, when you talk Beverly Hills Cop, all I hear is so I listened to that song by Herbie Hancock a million times.
Yep.
Never understood how it related to the movie, which I did not get to see. I thought it was okay. I actually watched it on Tubi. I don't know, maybe about 2 months ago in preparation for this episode because I knew it was coming. And like that movie did not age well.
Oh,
Like with the police brutality and like the whole covering up for each other,
yeah.
it's like, bruh, like y'all need to like phase this movie out because there's police departments where this is still going on. So, I thought it was a good movie for what it was, but I think like most movies, they just don't age well. What'd you say? It came out in 1984.
84, yeah.
Yeah, the 80s was just the time of like, everyone was out there on whatever forms of white powder they could get a hold of and, you know, making whatever inappropriate jokes they could. So, yeah, it was definitely a different time, but it's an okay movie.
What'd you think, Joe?
I think Alan's still waiting for that punchline on the banana and the pipe joke to get clear, so he knows what the punchline is.
Well, he put the banana in the tailpipe the first time, right? And then he's like, "Oh, we're not
Mhm.
going to fall for that again."
Yeah.
I remember
Mm,
I was there 2 months ago
yeah.
when I watched it on Tubi, which is
When,
the
when, he,
only reason I remember.
when he made fun of
Mm.
the black cop for not being black enough, and he's like, "You can't say it like that. We're not going to fall for any of that banana on the tailpipe. You got to say, man, we ain't going to fall for any of that banana on the tailpipe."
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a lot of that was like the format for those type of movies, like
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the cop that gets framed or the buddy that got killed that's a friends with a cop. The chief's always pissed off at you until you solve the case somewhere else, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden you're a hero, but I'm still mad at you. So I mean,
Too much.
like I think around that time, a lot of movies were like that. But you know that song that you don't like. I mean, in the 80s and the 90s, bro, that's what made movies was the soundtrack. And so
Oh
like
no, I love that song.
anytime, yeah. Oh, you do? I think you cap. Stop the cap in 24.
Hey, no cap in this episode. Well, maybe a little bit of cap in this episode. But yeah, bro, I love that song. It's on my I
Yeah.
have different playlists. It's on my playlist
Okay.
that's just musical. Yeah, love it.
Okay. Yeah, but that was back when soundtracks are good. So like if you hear certain songs, like you're like, oh, it's that one movie where I feel
Mhm.
like now they don't have that. I think the last one that was actually good to a movie was Black Panther when Kendrick Lamar did that, the
All
album
the
for that
stars.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like one of the last few movies, that more than one song was just like really good. They played throughout the whole movie.
Let me go off on a tangent for 1 second. I don't get soundtracks, but that Black Panther soundtrack was
Yeah,
fire. And not just like one
wasn't
or
it?
two songs. It's like I might skip one or two, but all the
Yeah,
way through. Yeah. Dude,
yeah.
that's so good.
That's what I mean. A lot of good songs on there. That's why
Yeah.
I won Grammys.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know me, I don't keep up with nothing.
You know,
At
one time I'm sitting there and I'm talking with Nate, and
Bandcamp.
he was playing video games, and he's like, I'm like, where'd you hear that? And he goes, oh, I'm like, no, come on, you heard it somewhere. So we're watching cartoons a little while later, and we're watching Monsters versus Alien, and there's a part where the president goes up and he tries to play that music for the aliens to try to communicate with him. I was like, dang, man, that
Mm.
scared me for a second. I'm like, what is going on here?
He's
Yeah.
sneaking in watching those movies like you probably did.
You know, yeah, because I didn't watch
Oh,
that in the
how things
theater.
have changed.
I
Yeah.
was young, so I definitely watched that on HBO one night at 2 in the morning
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
everybody was asleep.
Yeah.
I think I
guess
saw it at the drive-ins.
Oh,
Remember, I know where they used to have drive-ins. I think that's where I watched it in Oceanside at the Oceanside. What's it, flea market?
swap meet.
Swap meet. There we go. Yeah. Is that the same thing or no?
I think a flea market's normally smaller, but I mean, technically, you're right, bro. It's like the same thing, except I think flea market doesn't have like
Tomato.
it's like vendors. Like when you go to the swap
Yeah.
meet. Remember how it used to be? It was just like people trying to sell their own stuff, but now swap meets
Yeah.
are like people who that's their job is to be
yeah,
out there every
Mhm.
week. So I
Yeah.
think that's the difference. But I don't know. You're right. Flea
Mm.
it's like
market, swap
You're probably
meet.
right. You're probably
convention
right.
art show.
Yeah, it's all the
Yeah.
same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe,
True that. True that. True that. True that.
nice. Okay, so did you go yet, Joe?
No. So
Okay.
I'll start with Trading Places. Um, did you watch that movie?
I don't remember it, but I watched it.
So pretty much it's two brothers that are so rich that they decide to take their number one protege and say that they could switch him with a homeless con artist and said, "Hey, I bet you we could switch him and nothing ever going to change. We'll still make money." And they bet $1. So they pretty much brought Eddie Murphy in as like their lead Wall Street guy, I think it was. And then they canceled everything for Dan Aykroyd's character and then made him poor. So like he ended up getting with Jamie Lee Curtis back in the day, who was banging in her prime. And she took care of him, and then eventually they form a team. They get together, and then they end up beating the brothers, and they also won with a dollar bet. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I did not realize that Dan Aykroyd was in that.
Yeah.
It's like now it's like, okay, boom.
Yeah.
Now it comes back to me. But dude, I love Dan Aykroyd. Like ever since he was in Ghostbusters, I'm like, that's my dude. That's my dude. I'll watch him in anything.
Yeah. He's like, "How you feeling?" It was just, I can't remember at the end of the movie. "Feeling good." Something. I can't remember. It's been such a long time. There was like that line on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some memorable lines in there, of course. Nothing comes to mind right now. But that was
right.
That was 1983, his second movie, and he played Billy Ray Valentine.
Billy Ray Valentine.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's try to get the most stereotypical con artist name ever. Billy Ray Valentine.
Was that the one where he was on his knees on that little rolling cart and he's like, "I got no legs."
Yeah.
For a minute there, I was like, bro, it's not this kind of show, bro.
No, but that's because he was a con artist trying to pretend he was handicapped, trying to get money, and that's how they found him. Like the security guards came, they each grabbed him by an arm and started dragging him away. And
I think it was the cops.
legs...
I think it was the cops.
Oh yeah, well, it was the cops. That's right.
Once again, things that could not fly today.
No,
there'd be so many protests, but back then it was like, that's funny. He's pretending to be disabled. That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, growing up, it was like, I might get canceled, but I think they need to bring some of that stuff back. I think the people are just too sensitive nowadays. You can't joke around about any little thing, dude. All of a sudden you're canceled.
No.
But I think it made people stronger. Bring back the bullies.
First of all, if you'd like to cancel Joe for that statement, it's Alan at iamnwo.com. Send in your petitions, and Joe will still be back forever on this show.
But, I would appreciate it. I'm like, oh, they trying to bully. I like it.
That's right. Joe, actually, it's like for Joe, that's like a spirit bomb. It's like, people of Earth, send me your booze and your cancels. That makes me stronger.
Send me more.
Check.
Nice. But yeah, dude. I'm gonna have to agree with Joe on that one.
Yeah, that was a really good movie, man. The two old men, I think they were like Mortimer and Randall.
Yes,
that was their name.
That's exactly. Those are the names.
Yeah.
They kind of reminded me of the guys from the two old men that were in the Muppet Show.
Up in
the corner. Yeah, those guys were awesome, man.
You remember they were at the end of Coming to America, wasn't it? Where something happened, money goes in there. It's like Randall, and they were like homeless on the street. I think it was Coming to America.
Yeah, I was going to get to that with my next one.
My bad.
No worries.
And that's what we call in the game a transition, followed by an Eddie Murphy laugh. Alfonso, give us your next movie.
Well, my next movie is going to be put waylaid because we're going to go on to Coming to America, because that was going to be an excellent transition there. Eddie Murphy plays a prince from what was the name of what was it? Zwanda? Yeah, that sounds right. It's not a real place though, right? Did he make up a name for it? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
So
I thought Wakanda was real. So
Wakanda's real.
My ancestors, they're ashamed of me.
It is in my heart. So he's this prince, and he decides that you know, he has. Oh, first we got to bring out the royal butt wipers. Butt wipers. So the movie starts out with him getting a bath, and you know, he had to bring out. Yeah. Anyway, so he's like, he's got this marriage set up to this beautiful, beautiful princess, and she comes out, and she's just like no personality. He's like, he goes, you know, you'll do anything I say, won't you? And he's like, bark like a dog. He's like, yip, yip, hop around on one foot, hop, hop, yip, yip. And he's just like, you know, he wanted a woman of substance, and he's like, you know, so he tells his manservant, I guess, who's played by Arsenio Hall, and he's like, I am going to find me a wife. And he spins the globe, and he goes, boop, and he goes right there, and he goes, well, what better to find a queen than in Queens? So they go to him, they decide to go to Queens, New York, and they meet the woman of his dreams, whose father owns like a McDonald's type restaurant called McDowell's, and we get a really cool cameo by Sam Jackson. He gets beat up by Eddie Murphy with a mop bucket or mop stick, and it's just such a great movie because he goes and he's trying to find somebody that he truly loves, and it's got a great message. It's a lot of comedy, you know. He finds true love, and the father comes, and the father kind of ruins everything. He goes, no, my son's not going to marry you. Who is none other than Darth Vader, James Earl Jones. Yep. And he's like, my son is just here to soil his royal oats. And, you know, it was just like this big thing. And she got all sad. So he had to go and try to save everything. And finally, at the end, everything comes together and they get married and they have their big wedding. Yeah. Arsenio Hall's character was named Simi. I remember that now. But yeah. And at the very end of the movie, when like the king comes and gives him a bunch of money and he doesn't want the money. So he's walking with a girl, and he hands a paper bag, lunch bag full of money to these two homeless guys. And it happens to be Mortimer and Randall from Trading Places. And he goes, Mortimer, we're back. So with whatever they got, they had a startup fund. They're able to get back in the business. So this is one of those kind of first shared universe movies where they were able to bring something in like that. I don't know if any other movies be predating that kind of did that, but Eddie Murphy's movies are all connected, I guess.
That's actually pretty cool as far as the connected universes thing. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't come up with some like fan site theory that connects all the movies together, but you know, I mean, it's okay. You can't always do that for like everything we talk about. I remember this movie being funny as a kid, but it was kind of like that juvenile humor, but it hit. You know, that's all I remember. I didn't like so much the like the overall. Oh man, it's like I'm at a loss for words. I don't know. I just okay. So I'm not trying to get canceled like Joe, but I felt like his character was just too much of like, oh, I'm this great guy. I feel like that's what Eddie Murphy was always like. This movie, like he was trying to like, it was like he was kind of trying to transition this image. So he's like, oh, I'm this great guy, you know, and there's like no profanity, anything like that. But it was a funny movie. But overall, I just didn't like the main character. And I felt like IMO, I felt like Eddie Murphy's character was a lot funnier than the Prince character was. Not Prince Rogers Nelson, but the Prince in Coming to America. So that's my thoughts.
You remember this is where we got Soul Glow from. Just let your soul glow. The Jerry Curl spray.
Was that from that?
Yeah,
it was from that. I was gonna say that because you remember she opened the door and it was raining, and he was like he had his hands on the door. And he had a little Jerry Curl. Because back in those times they had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Eric Listell too. That was funny.
Y'all homies was doing that back in the day. You had a little soul glow, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, did you ever have a Jerry Curl?
Joe, did you?
You know I didn't have one.
Yes. Walk of shame over to the Jerry Curl jar of shine. Yes, I did have a Jerry Curl back in the day.
Pigs.
Yeah. Also had plastic. My mom had plastic on the sofa, probably because of the Jerry curl juice. But yeah,
No doubt, no doubt. And then remember the absolute 3 most racist guys in the world that worked in the barbershop?
yes,
Oh yeah,
Anytime we start talking about boxing, some white guy's got to bring up Rocky Marciano.
yeah. But that's how barbershops was though. So
Yeah.
I think that was like for me, that was one of the funniest parts was the
Yeah.
barbershop.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't go barbershop anymore because I got like a boutique I go to now. Shout out to
Look
Willie.
at you.
Yeah, shout out to Willie. Got the boutique set up, but barbershops, that's still the dynamic. You walk in there, everyone's talking crap. Like if I walked in a
Mhm.
barbershop today, whether it be like Diddy or what's going on, if whatever, there's going to be 1,000 theories, 1,000 conspiracy theories. That's still the nature of barbershops, which is cool. But once
Yeah.
again,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of brother bonding, no Diddy.
that it is definitely brother bonding. No Diddy apparently. So Joe, let's see here. Since Alfonso threw the order out a little bit, because you threw the order out a little bit, what you got for the next part of the order?
I liked it's one of his, I don't know, he's come out with a movie in a minute, but like it's not that old. I Spy, it had like Eddie Murphy and then Owen Wilson, and then I can never remember her name, but she played Jean Grey in the X-Men.
Yeah, no one remembers her name, but Alfonso will.
Famke Jensen,
There we go. Yeah.
the goddess queen.
So pretty much he's a spy that's not that good, but gets partnered up with Eddie Murphy, who's a boxer, and he's invited to like a deal where that I want to say that they're selling something. I don't know if it was a bomb or not. And that was his way to get in. And so so that's the dynamic of the movie, trying to catch spies and stuff like that. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Entertaining.
That's one of those movies I'm sure I saw, but I don't remember watching it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and watch it. However, just so I can contribute something to the conversation, Famke, is that her name?
Famke,
Alfonso?
yes.
Yeah. So
so,
Joe
yeah.
told me don't watch Knights of the Zodiac, which she was a star in, kind of a star.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. Sometimes I got to listen to Joe. Sometimes I don't need to be so damn stubborn.
She couldn't even save that movie, bro. It was just terrible. And it also had Zorro in it, and he couldn't save
Yeah.
that movie.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
It's
And
just terrible.
yeah. Just and what's weird, yeah, to your point, Joe, it wasn't like a bunch of bad actors and actresses, like
No.
not B movies. They were all pretty good, but they all got together and they're like, we can't save this, but we're getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like Madam Web.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I want to see it. I still want to see it. I want to see how bad it is. I gotta see how bad it is.
Hey, you know
Yeah.
what? I want to see how bad it is, dude. But I'm gonna wait till they show for free.
Yeah, we should have a
Yeah.
watch party.
Oh, that would be dope if we had a watch
Hey, that's
party.
a
We'll
good
have to do
idea,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That would be
called it
funny.
now, ladies, gentlemen, and knights. I'm willing to go through the pain again for I think the third time, and we're gonna do that. It's in the future. We're gonna do a watch party and watch Madam Web, so that's coming.
Yeah.
So let's see here, Alfonso. Can you contribute anything that's actually relevant to the movie that Joe talked about? Because I clearly can't.
Yes. I don't know. It's just something that just popped in my head. Was this the movie that they were trying to make off of the video game Spy Hunter, or was
No.
that a different? No. Okay, because
No.
they were trying to make that for a bit, right? When they were
Yeah,
doing
with
all
The
those
Rock.
battleship movie. Oh, that was the movie. Did they make it?
No, Spy Hunter. No, they
Uh-huh.
didn't actually make it, but they were trying to
Oh.
make Spy Hunter with The Rock. I Spy is based on an old television show starring Bill Cosby. That's ironic. Yeah.
I would like to talk to you about the things that you say and you show. You can't be saying no flill, flar, fill. Man, I don't know how to say no flill. No, like,
Yeah. So that was
yeah, that was some good. I Spy. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually, what's funny is recently I saw a reel on it where Eddie Murphy is explaining, like, he's talking to a guy about doing an exhibition match or whatever, and they're doing some boxing, and he just starts slapping the crap out of him because the guy like tried to hit him, and he's like, That's all I remember about that. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I had a good time with it. You know, I wouldn't say it was one of my top Eddie Murphy movies, but you know, it was definitely before he started getting too family oriented. Because
Mhm.
like to me, he kind of fell off with that. I mean, I'd still watch the family oriented movies because I have a family, but I
Mhm.
mean, I'm like just like, man, that's not Eddie Murphy. Just like Ice Cube, man, that's not Ice Cube.
Mm.
You know, he ain't straight out of Compton. You know, it's I don't know, man. It just I didn't want to see Eddie Murphy going down that road. It seems like he's trying to make a little bit of a comeback to his old raw, delirious style, which would be nice. But of course, in this cancel culture, it may not be a very good idea. So we shall see.
Yep.
Indeed, we shall see. So we're talking family movies. Sometimes Joe goes, Dukes, I know you didn't see this. I'm going to say this to Joe. Joe, I know you didn't see this. Candy Cane Lane, fam. Candy Cane Lane, which was on Amazon Prime Video. It was a Christmas movie. Uh, it was one of those movies where it was like, I don't know. I think, oh, yeah. Okay. Here's the thing the fam was supposed to watch it for an early premiere at AMC theaters. But you know, my family, we always got like 100 other things to do at any given time. So even though we got these free tickets to go see the movie at AMC, which came with free popcorn and a free drink, I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool, right? So I would have gone for the free popcorn and drink, but people always be making plans. So I watched it on TV, and it was just good story, right? If I'm putting up the nerd flags, the acting was cheesy, right? But it was a good story. The action, special effects were trash, but it was just an overall good story. I enjoyed it. It's like I actually didn't know what was going to happen. I seriously didn't know what was going to happen. Now, granted, the final scene was kind of telegraphed, but that was okay. That's okay. Telegraph is something that was used before the internet, kids. Long time ago, there was this little thing where people would go, and there was someone on the other end of the same thing, and they could tell the dots and the dashes, and that was Morse code. I don't know if anybody knows Morse code anymore, except for like the army homies. But yeah, that's what I meant by telegraphing. So, I liked it. It was a good movie. Just came out in 2023. I hope Alfonso has a bunch of great info to tell us about it. I hope there's a sequel. If you like Christmas movies, I would say don't go for the special effects, don't go for the acting, but it's a fun family movie. Alfonso, drop the knowledge.
3 longs, 3 shorts, 3 longs, 3 shorts, 3 longs. That's SOS. So if you ever get lost on the seas, 3 longs, 3 shorts, 3 longs. SOS. There's some Morse code for you. Beep,
You
beep,
know,
beep, beep.
Alfonso, sometimes you start off by turning this into a completely different type of show. You put 3 longs and 3 shorts, but hey, you brought it back. It's SOS apparently, which
Yes, it is. Save
yeah,
our shit.
there's a standard joke I use for everything, and yeah, there we go.
So yes, Candy Cane Lane. You know, I have a hard time sometimes with the fam trying to watch movies. The wife doesn't like a lot of things. Then there are a lot of things that are not appropriate for the child. So when a family movie comes about, we're like, hey, let's check it out. So around Christmas time, we did rock the Candy Cane Lane. It was pretty interesting because you had him Eddie Murphy had his whole little Christmas yard set up, and he had a lot of woodwork. It looked really cool, and then his neighbor across the way, man, he just had to go like full, Clark Griswold and just lights and cannons and whatever, dude. It's just a boom, boom. So he was kind of bummed and he wanted to win. Like there was some kind of prize, I forget, for the cul-de-sac, top Christmas tree decorate or top Christmas yard decorations. And so he went down and he found this magic pop-up shop, and he's like, oh, I've never noticed that there before. So they went in and they bought like this box. This box was like a hat box kind of, but it was huge, right? They roll it out, they put it down, they hit the button, like this big old thing pops out, this huge tree, and it's got all the 12 days of Christmas, 5 lords of leaping, 11 ladies dancing, no, five golden rings, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens. Oh, never mind. So it had everything, but the thing is, they all came to life, right? And I don't remember how, but everybody, like the people, started turning into little toys, and then they were going to put them in the demonic Christmas shop to sell to people, and it was a lot of fun, And then Eddie Murphy and his family had to save the day, so good times.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was. Triggered. I dislike very strongly the 12 Days of Christmas song because when I was young, there was always one little girl who knew that song front and back, and she would just show off all the time. She'd be like, "Five golden rings," and I'm like, dude, like it's not that serious, right? And then she'd get all hyped up from going five golden rings, and then she'd like go through the rest of the song. She'd like break it down, and then she'd start over with like the freaking 12 whatever. I don't even know what number 12 is. All I knew was the five golden rings.
12 Lords Sleeping.
12. See how far
11 Ladies Dancing.
You're like that. You're
10
like
Pipers
that little
Puppy.
girl, bro.
I'm
Just
that little,
showing
I
off.
am that little girl.
Showing off, man. Showing off, man. I don't appreciate it. I'm the one who wears the kilt. I wear the skirt. Don't be wearing the skirt on the podcast. Okay, that's me. Joe, did you see this movie?
Yeah, so like I really like the part of like there's like a bunch of mercenaries, right? And then they meet like this captain, right? And he says, "Hey, I have a mission for you." And then they get on an airplane and they're flying, right? And they go to like some jungle. And when they're in the jungle, bro, they hear something go, and it's like, and then you look in the trees, it's like a camouflage. You're like, you see something there, but oh, we're not talking about that movie. Oh, my bad.
And we're talking about Predator 2.
Yeah, well, my bad.
Finally, a movie that Joe hasn't seen. But thank you for faking it like Alfonso does in like every single movie he claims to have seen.
Yeah, I saw that on like the Amazon. I was like, I ain't watching that, bro. I haven't watched an Eddie Murphy in recent time in a hot minute, bro. Like I didn't even watch Coming to America 2. I heard it was really bad.
It was a movie.
Let's stop the cap in 2024.
Hey, bro, all I said was it was a movie, right? Like,
It sure was.
yeah. So Joe, you know what? To get us back in rotation, if it's cool with you, Joe. Wait, did you do your number 2? I'm just confused.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. See,
I'll go on my last one. Yeah.
right. So I'm gonna do the last one, get us back on the rotation. That's where we're at in the rotation. So, okay. Joe has not seen any Eddie Murphy movie in quite a few years. I recommend this movie. People were actually raving over his acting. It's classic. I know you remember Dolomite, Joe. The black shelf at Don's video. Brothers would
Yes.
always come in. Y'all got that Dolomite? You got that Dolomite too?
Yeah.
You got that
Bro.
Petey Wheat Straw?
And dude, like she was like low key. The owner was like off, like low key, like they were German owners, bro. And so they called it the black section, bro. Well, no, I think I called it the black section. They said it was like she would always be like, go Joe, go show him over there. Like, go show him where it's at. Like, that's what she would always say. And then the brothers would be like, looking at me, I'm all, let's go. I'll take you to the black section. And they're like, what? Okay, just follow me, dude. We'll go to the black section. And then you go to the black section and they start laughing immediately because it's nothing but black movies there, which they don't really take offense to it because I was like the only video store you can get all the old school black movies. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I remember any other video store that had every old school like Dolomite. You had like Foxy Brown, like all the
Mhm.
old school like black made movies were just right there, dude. So it's just funny. It's just the black section over there, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, it was cool.
dude, it was cool. So, My
Yeah.
Name is Dolomite is the biography of Rudy Ray Moore. Now, to me, Rudy Ray Moore is a great comedian, but he also became a completely mediocre actor. But he understood he was a mediocre actor and he was making mediocre movies, but people were watching him. They were enjoying it. So Rudy Ray Moore said, you know what? I'm going to continue on this path. So he made the Dolomite movies. He made the Petey Wheatstraw movies. I love Dolomite movies, Way Down in the Jungle Deep. And I thought
Wait,
Eddie
down in the
Murphy,
jungle.
see, Joe knows. Joe, see, bro, you gotta watch. You gotta watch My Name Is Dolomite, bro. I'll say this: if you don't
Yeah.
enjoy it, I will watch The Witcher.
Ooh. Okay. I will check it out.
I'm gonna edit this out of the audio version of the podcast. So those of you watching it on YouTube, you're gonna have to vouch for Joe because this won't be. But on YouTube, I can't edit it out. So when Joe's like,
Mhm.
"Bro, did you watch that Witcher yet?" I'm gonna be like, "Why would I watch The
Yeah.
Witchers?"
Mhm.
Yeah,
I will watch 2-3 minutes of it. Yeah, yeah, I can sit through that. Let me know what you think about The Watcher or The Witcher.
yeah. You guys got to check it out. It's just a great movie, great acting. I'll say great cast, dealing with a great subject. Someone who I feel like didn't get enough respect. My
Yeah.
name is Dolomite. I'm gonna walk into work tomorrow and be like, I'm gonna be talking to customers. My name is Dolomite. Yeah, that'll be me tomorrow.
Mm,
So yeah, as you can tell, I'm hyped about this movie. So thank you guys for choosing Eddie
mm.
Murphy, even though I don't like him,
Yeah.
because
Way down in the
Dolomite,
jungle.
yeah, stepped on a signified monkey's feet. Alfonso, do you know anything about My Name is Dolomite?
I did. I watched that movie. I had a great time with it. Actually, you know what's funny is I think I may not have finished the whole movie though, because it was one of those things where I got to watch it late at night and I'm falling asleep because it's so late. Because the fam would be like they'd be really frowned upon in the Flores household. Let me tell you, because Dolomite was all about that TNA, and
Yes. And young Alan Dukes enjoyed every second of every Dolomite movie. He didn't discriminate. I'll just say that. He didn't discriminate. When
not
he
one
went to the
bit.
ice cream section, he said, "Give me one of those and one of those and one of those." So I enjoyed me some Dolomite movies.
Neapolitan.
It just reminds me of like the Black Dynamite. It was like so close to that, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
we always say, "Would you? Is there anything I can get you?" He said, "Well, yes, I would like some of that ass." Like just those lines are so freaking funny, dude. Like it's so
Yeah.
simple, but you're just like, yeah, it's
Yeah, but
funny.
it's just hilarious. Yeah. So Joe, obviously, you know Dolomite. You got to check out the movie. That's what I'm saying. Even though Alfonso was like, "It's a good movie," but I didn't finish it. You know.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go back. I'm
way
gonna go back
down
to
in the jungle.
Alfonso, what do you have as your tippy top out of order movie?
Number two. Number two was going to be The Golden Child, starring Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy plays what was he? Is he the chosen one? Um Chandler Jarrell. He's chosen to protect the what do they call it? What do they call him? He was like the one who's gonna save everybody, right? There's this little Asian kid who's like he's I don't know, like the next coming or whatever. He's the one who's going to save the world, who's going to bring the world together. He's like a little Buddhist monk that's really cute. And man, it's like I'm trying to think of how this movie went. And I know that he was brought in to like because he had one of those like fake jobs that they have in movies. It's like, oh, my job is I always find missing people. That was his job, to find missing people. And they brought him in to find the missing kid because he had been kidnapped. And I remember somebody gave him the sacred scrolls, and he goes, "What is this? What is this? You know what? I think there were two of these, and you smoked one." That's the biggest thing I remember in the movie, the
Wow.
sacred scrolls.
So, as you're describing this movie, Alfonso, have you seen Daryl Dixon, The Walking Dead show?
Oh yeah.
The same movie or same
Oh,
show, right?
same show. Same show.
Okay. Just as you're describing it, I'm like, well, didn't I watch this about 3-4 months ago?
or that other one, The Last of Us, or
Yeah, oh, dude, you're on a roll now. It's like,
Time to Go
man,
Solo. Will it ever stop? I don't know. Oh.
wow. Okay. Now I'm like,
Did you
wow.
know like the boy in the Golden Child is actually a woman?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, did it happen in the movie, or is it just the person who played the character?
She was just
I think
a little girl that played a boy.
yeah. Oh,
See, I didn't because I heard that too, but I wasn't sure if it was
Mhm.
supposed to be just a girl and we assumed it was a boy, but it was just a girl playing a boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's JL Riet. Riete.
mm,
Reet. I don't know. I'm bad at names. I be butchering names. But I always thought like the girl that Eddie Murphy was with Charlotte Lewis, she was fun.
I'm gonna have to Google search that. I don't remember her. One thing I'd like to ask one more time, Alfonso. What was the character's name?
It was Chandler Jarrell.
Now you can't tell me that this character was not supposed to be a white dude.
Chandler.
Chandler, hey, my name's Chandler, right? You've never met a brother named Chandler. Come on.
Never, dude. Never, bro. I mean, Chandler Bing. He wasn't a brother. Hey, hold on. If I was at Don's video, let me go check the black section. Yeah,
Well, you know,
Chandler's.
Billy Ray Valentine was already taken. Axel Foley.
I mean,
Reggie
even
Hammond.
Chandler Palpatine was white.
Right. Chandler. And let's see, in Harlem Lights, he was just Quick. Boomerang, he is Marcus. Oh, best defense, he was Lieutenant T.M. Landry.
Okay, see, you know who those roles were made for.
He probably did that on purpose, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, so like, you know why he did that? So he can get movies.
To get
bro.
hired.
I'll tell you.
To get...
So let me tell you a story, dude. So I had this SSD, it's like seasonal service drivers that we hire off the street during Christmas, and they drive their own vehicle, they deliver. And so this dude's name was I called him up and I'm like, hey, yo, can I speak to Tyrone? And he goes, huh? I go, you can speak to Tyrone. Yeah, this is he. Okay, cool. Can you start this day? He's like, yeah. And so I want to say his middle name's Clyde, right? Mm-hmm. So my manager goes, hey, I need you to go do a safety observation on Clyde. I'm all, who the hell's Clyde? You mean Tyrone? He said, no. He told me his name is Clyde. I said, well, I'm telling you his name is Tyrone. And he goes, no, you are wrong. I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's Tyrone. So I go out there, do a safety observation. I pull up on the kid and I'm like this, Tyrone? And he goes, oh, hey, what's up? I say, yo, I'm Joe. He goes, hey, what's up? I go, your name's Tyrone, right? And he goes, yeah. I go, because my manager seems to think it's Clyde. He goes, I go by Tyrone. I said, I know why you go by Tyrone. And he's like, why? I go, because they think you're black and you can't get jobs because your name is Tyrone. He looks around and goes, how do you know that? I'm all, I mean, if you're a minority, you know that. He goes, yeah. He goes, my dad, because he was an Asian guy, bro. And so I think he was Filipino, but he says his dad's favorite basketball player, his name was Tyrone. So he named him Tyrone. And he goes, dude, I love my name Tyrone. All through school, I go by Tyrone. But to get jobs, I go by Clyde.
Wow. See?
Yeah, it's a trip, right? And so that's probably why Eddie Murphy has all those white names. It's I don't know, probably like an inside joke to him, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe
shout out to Tyrone.
Shout out, what up, Tyrone? Yeah, when you call me, your name's Clyde, bro, but we know you're Tyrone. Hey, so Joe, take us home with your number one.
Mine is Boomerang, dude. It had like a dope soundtrack, bro. I remember I had PM Dawn. It's my time to wish you were lying here. I could. No, I'm just joking. But anyways, I'm not a singer. That's you guys. But dude, I had Eddie Murphy. It had Chris Tucker. Or not Chris Tucker. Chris Rock. It had Tisha Campbell from like House Party and Martin. It had what was her name? Let me look. Robin Givens, dude. I used to think she was so fine until she did Mike Tyson dirty. And then it also had Halle Berry. Because I remember the first time I saw Halle Berry was in Strictly Business. Yeah. And then she was dope in Boomerang. So I thought it was a pretty good show. It's just about like it's more this day and age is the tables had turned. Because he was basically a player that got played by a woman, and that seems how it is nowadays. Now, like it was like he always had like a foretelling of how it was going to be right now, because it seems like it happens like that a lot now. You know, where the tables have turned, where women are doing more to guys than guys do the women.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say that movie is classic. I didn't like it, but it's because I know, big surprise, right? Whatever movie he did before that, and I can't remember what it was, I thought that the tone of that movie was like really different. So I was going expecting like one type of comedy, and this was more of a serious, like over my head, like I didn't understand the subject matter because I probably hadn't even had a date by that point. So
Yeah.
I
It
couldn't
did
relate.
start off funny. Remember, it
That was
started
in
off super
1990.
funny. Yeah.
And then it kind of got too
Yeah.
serious. Okay.
Yeah. It
Okay.
started off like super funny. And then when he got played, and then it was kind of like not so funny anymore. And then it got really serious. And then, then he messes up and then they get into a fight again. It was just like, So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember going into it because of the trailers, again, they portray it a certain way.
Mhm.
And then when you go watch it, you're like, huh.
You're like, well,
He had
like
skills in that movie, man.
it's like you want to
Yeah,
feel
I
sorry
know.
for the dude, but it's supposed to be a comedy.
Right. Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Okay, yesterday I was getting dressed, right? And I had a
Mm.
wardrobe malfunction. I had a,
Oh.
a button missing from my shirt. And I thought to myself, I could put on this shirt, but I knew that the shirt I could switch out didn't match. And I thought to myself, gotta coordinate. That's from
Yeah.
Boomerang, right?
Yes, you got to coordinate.
Okay.
He's like,
Yes.
look, you got mushrooms on the inside. See, don't stop there. Mushroom belt.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
line is that's one of those classic lines that it's like I
Yeah.
don't remember too much about Boomerang, but like
Mm.
I wanted more John Witherspoon at that point. Like, hey,
Yeah,
give him a movie.
that was like it. That was when he was starting to get his groove. Like he was funny in
Mhm.
that. And then you had like, what was it? David Allen Greer from In Living Color. He was in it. I
Yes.
mean, it had a lot of stars in that
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
Do you guys remember Eartha Kitt when she was?
Oh
Marcus.
yes.
Yes,
You know,
she was
it's like,
on.
oh, dude, when he did it, he thought he was gonna get that promotion, and Robin Givens came in, and she's like, and then what was wow, I can't remember her name. Remember she was in
Grace
Red
Jones.
Sonja.
Grace
Yeah, Grace
Jones.
Jones.
Grace
Yep.
Jones.
Yeah,
Strange.
Yes,
Strange.
Stranger.
Oh, and it also had Martin Lawrence too. I forgot
Yep,
about
Martin
that.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it had I think that was like
All
the first
sarcastic.
time, if you think about it, a good assemble of black actors and actresses that were in one movie.
Yes.
So shout out to Eddie Murphy for that.
Yeah, I agree. When you think back on it, it's like he was like out there trying to change, like, hey, let's take all these talented people and put them in one movie. So respect for that. Respect for that.
Mhm.
Well, ladies, gentlemen, tonight you've walked down memory lane. We've gone all the way from Raw, went back to the Boomerang, and we had a great time in between. So thank you all very much for tuning in to this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. Until next time, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined. Booyah!